I'm Master Michael Giampetro. Today we're going to be learning how to throw the most popular kick in Taekwondo, the roundhouse kick. Now, we can do the roundhouse kick from several different starting positions, from our forward stance, or most likely our fighting position. Once we get into our fighting position, feet double shoulder width apart, knees bent, bouncing on the balls of our feet, we're going to go ahead and break our kick into 3 steps. On number 1, we're going to bring our foot to our knee. On number 2, we're going to rotate our body, bring our foot up nice and level. And then on number 3, it's hitting with the top of the foot. We're going to snap out, retract back, and back into our fighting position. Now, just like all of our kicks, it's really important to keep our posture up nice and straight. As I do this combination one more time, it's important to go through it slow. 1, 2, and 3 as we come through, and back down into our position. One of the most important parts about throwing the roundhouse kick is the pivoting. The pivoting of the kick is where we actually rotate on the ball of our foot. We'll be starting with our foot completely sideways, and at the end of our kick, our foot will be rotated all the way back, facing the rear. It's a big rotation, and it creates a lot of power into our kick. So we want to make sure we get that rotation all the way around. As you throw your roundhouse kick, sometimes it helps to bring your right shoulder, imagine bringing that right shoulder over as far as you can to help rotate the kick over. Last, when you're throwing the roundhouse kick, retracting the foot and being in control of your leg is always extremely important. As we get into our fighting stance and we throw that roundhouse kick, we want to have it cocked all the way in nice and tight, coming across, hitting the kick out, then retracting it back quickly, dropping it to our knee, and back down into our fighting stance. A common problem we see a lot of people do when they're throwing a roundhouse kick is to throw that kick and drop it straight down. By doing this, you transfer a lot of weight onto your front leg, and you're much more likely to get counter struck when sparring. So you want to make sure that when you're out here sparring today, we're going to kick, bring our foot back to our knee, drop it down in control. That way we can move back, kick again, or throw our next combination without any problems. A more advanced method of kind of changing your roundhouse kick to the situation when you're in a sparring match is called shaping a roundhouse kick. Now, shaping your roundhouse kick just means coming at a different attack angle with your actual kick. Whether we're coming maybe underneath the kick or we're coming at a much steeper attack angle with our roundhouse kick, maybe leaning back underneath the kick, or coming with a traditional kind of 90-degree straight in, or maybe coming over the top of a block, coming over the top and coming down with our roundhouse kick. All of these variations of the roundhouse kick are correct. We're just shaping the kick for the situation that we're actually using it for. Now, the way we shape our kick is by using our knee. If we want to bring our kick a little bit steeper and underneath, we're going to go ahead and bring that knee up and not turn it over as much. Let that leg extend a little bit early, boom, and we're going to come up underneath. If we want to throw our standard roundhouse kick, we're going to let that knee come across all the way, making sure that our knee passes our target to get maximum power and score through the Hogu. Our last position is to come over the top. When we're coming over the top on that angle, we're going to be coming up, dropping our knee really low and coming down. And as we do that, all you do is bring that knee up as high as you possibly can, twist it down and over the top to get that roundhouse kick. Whether you're coming shallow, you're coming standard, or you are coming over the top, your roundhouse kick should always be done with a nice quick rotation and land in a nice fighting stance. Pow! 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 The next variation of the roundhouse kick that we're going to talk about is the 1-2 roundhouse kick. Kind of sneaking it low and coming up high. This kick is very, very effective, especially when in close, looking to go low, getting that person to drop their hands, and then coming up high. Now, to make this kick really work, we have to exaggerate that low kick a little bit. We're not actually going to hit the person with a low kick. It's just kind of bringing our knee up. We're kind of giving it a short snap low, twisting our hips over, and coming up strong to the head. 1, 2, coming up. 1, 2. That 1-2 roundhouse kick is definitely going to help you get that foot up, get their hands down, and get that head shot. A lot of times we struggle in the very beginning getting those head kicks in because our kick's just a little bit slow. By doing the 1-2 roundhouse kick and coming a little low and then coming up high, you're going to be able to drop their hands, slow them down a little bit to get their block up, and execute that head kick that you want to execute. Next, we're going to talk about how distance plays a factor in executing a perfect roundhouse kick. I'm going to use my assistant Bob here as an example for today. When we're throwing a standard distance roundhouse kick, we normally want to be touching the bag and just slightly stepping back about this distance. If I lean forward, I can touch the bag. If I lean back, I can't. Normally, if we had two opponents here, we'd both put our front arm out, touch knuckles. That would be our standard distance where I could execute my roundhouse kick to their Hogu and they could execute their roundhouse kick to my Hogu. Now, we obviously can't be in this perfect position every single time we kick. So we have to adjust our kick depending on if we're closer or farther away. From our standard distance here, if I'm to take one slide back, all I have to do now is extend my hips a little bit forward, make sure I transfer my weight into the back, boom, and I can still execute that roundhouse kick and land it without any problems. All I'm doing, again, is pushing my hips forward, letting my weight transfer, committing completely to my kick, and scoring onto the Hogu. Now in contrast, as we get closer to the target, starting at standard distance, as if I move closer, I can't throw that standard roundhouse kick. I'll be too close, I'll hit with my shin, and this is a common problem. What we can do to alter this is from here, I'm just gonna bring that knee over more. I'm bringing that knee and I'm kind of over rotating and I'm getting my foot onto the Hogu. So as I get closer, pow! I can even get closer than that, stepping in, pow! And executing that kick from an extremely close area. You can even take these kicks up to the head from this close area. All you have to do is rotate the knee over a little bit more, and that's gonna give you more in close space to throw those kicks. Now obviously if you have longer legs, it's gonna be more difficult to be in close. And if you have shorter legs, it's gonna be more difficult to kick from far away. But it's important when you're practicing kicking to kicking from all three distance ranges. Kicking from your standard distance, your long distance, and your short distance. I hope these three distance variations of the roundhouse kick help you in your sparring.